The Ethiopian Jewish exodus to Israel began in the early 1980s after a coup of the Ethiopian government led to the death of 2,500 Jews, directly followed by the Ethiopians forbidding the practice of Judaism and the teaching of Hebrew. The first attempt to rescue and save Ethiopian Jews by the Israelis was something called Operation Brothers. This is also sometimes known as the Red Sea Diving Resort. It became a film later on Netflix. You can check it out. It's a great film. Concerned about the Ethiopian Jews' safety in the Sudanese refugee camps, Sudan being a Muslim country and part of the Arab League, Israel decides to try and rescue the Jewish people and bring them to Israel. The Mossad, or the secret Israeli military, CIA, whatever you want to call it, sets up a fake diving resort along the Red Sea in Sudan. The Mossad operative would sneak into many refugee camps and sneak out as many members of the Ethiopian Jewish community as they could. They would hold them briefly in this Red Sea diving resort until they could transport them onto Israeli ships waiting off the coast. 2 years into the operation, it was determined that naval rescues had become too dangerous and the focus shifted to airplanes instead. Some of the small details, of course, were finding suitable landing sites in Sudan in the middle of this desert. The Mossad operatives discovered a forsaken airstrip built by the British, part of World War II remote battlefronts. Though abandoned for decades, the runway was actually in pristine condition, not a single pothole or trench. The Ethiopian Jews, having never seen an airplane, were petrified as these metal behemoths rumbled down onto the desert floor amidst a spectacular dust storm. Israeli commandos deplaned bearing assault rifles and rocket launchers. Some of the terrified Ethiopians even tried fleeing into the desert. 12,000 Ethiopian Jews were saved as a result of Operation Brothers. Following the success of Operation Brother, later, in another attempt to rescue Ethiopian Jews, the Israelis worked on Operation Moses, or originally called Gur Aryeh Yehuda, or the Cub of the Lion of Judah. Due to the ongoing civil war, the Israeli government, American CIA, Sudanese Muslim groups, and other organizations agreed to sneak the Ethiopian Jews out of the refugee camps. In these camps, they were often singled out as being Ethiopian Jews and killed. Over 7 weeks, over 30 flights brought the 200 Ethiopian Jews at a time to Israel. Before this operation, there was approximately as few as 250 Ethiopian immigrants in Israel. Thousands of Beta Israel fled Ethiopia on foot for refugee camps in Sudan, a journey which usually took anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. It is estimated that 4,000 people died during the trek due to the violence and illness along the way. Sudan secretly allowed Israel to evacuate these refugees in Operation Moses. In one more major attempt to rescue Ethiopian Jews, in 1991, Operation Solomon commenced, where the sitting Ethiopian government was close to being toppled again, threatening Ethiopia with dangerous political destabilization. The World Jewish organizations such as the American Association for Ethiopian Jews and the Israeli government were concerned about the well-being of these Ethiopian Jews and decided to act again. In order to accommodate as many people as possible, airplanes were stripped of all of their seats, and due to the low body weight and minimal baggage of the refugees, up to 1,086 passengers were boarded onto a single plane. May 24, 1991 also happened to be Friday, which begins the Jewish Shabbat, during which transportation is not normally used. This made a lot more vehicles available for the mission, as the Jewish religious law permits breaking the Sabbath for saving lives. Many immigrants came with nothing except for their clothes. They were met by ambulances with 140 frail passengers receiving medical care right on the tarmac. Several pregnant women gave birth on the plane, and their babies were rushed to hospitals once they landed. After a few months, around 20,000 Jews made their way over to Israel. Operation Solomon airlifted twice as many Ethiopian Jews to Israel as Operation Moses. Between 1990 and 1999, over 39,000 Ethiopian Jews entered Israel. These incredible stories of evacuation and rescue of Ethiopian Jews from refugee camps and the refugees themselves walking across deserts for days and months in order to reach safety in Israel is honestly one amazing thing about this community. Bringing these Ethiopian Jews to Israel has not unfortunately gone without its challenges, and in our next segment we're going to talk a little bit about the modern day issues facing Ethiopian Jews. When we come back on the Jewish Diaspora Report, stay with us.